To those that read this is the journal of Tiana Heslin Cugat. I have seen the folds of space, where time is woven into existence. No traveling have I done, but merely arrived at my fateful destination. This book is to record such adventures, as such things would be a shame to lose to time and the memory of an aging mind. What you are about to read surely will look at folly to you, but I can assure you the experiences have been had, for I could not create these stories under my own ability to imagine. Adventure 1. For some unknown reason, I appear to have been pulled from the comfortable known to a lush jungle. I am a bit confounded and nervous, although my curiosity is greater. Pressing forward, slowly and cautiously, there reveals itself a clearing. In the center, what appears to be an Aztec or Mayan pyramid of sorts, guarded by two dragon-like statues. As I gazed upon these things, trying to take in and process just exactly what is happening, the dragons began to move. Sparkles of light, twinkling gold luminance fills the air, where stillness and stone once stood. They encircled everything in the unassuming little clearing. Showering radiance of magnificent gold nothings fell like blossoms, gently, as waves dusting and kissing the recipient of whatever they were. Breaking their pattern, the dragons flew wildly. I remember one coming so close as for us to make eye contact. A lack of harmful intent, no nature of lashing out. All that I could see was a confidence only accrued by thousands of years of experience. I knew that they would not harm me, but I wasn't nearly the courageous enough or stupid enough woman to tempt their wrathful side. There would have been no time to do so anyway, because just as I had arrived, so too was I whisked away. I was not home. Brick-laid streets, puddles dotted where they had sunken slightly. Street lamps that weren't all too bright were doing their best to keep up with the darkness of the night. Men dressed in long coats and tasteful attire. Their demeanor would suggest they thought they owned the world. The women hanging off their arms suggested a similar sentiment. I own the one that owns the world. I've seen this before, but where? I thought to myself. My thoughts were interrupted by the answer that I was exploring the dusty vaults of my mind for. A puttering, so very unrefined sounding, comes from the unlit void of an alley that the street lamps couldn't handle. Well, that explains it. It was a car, as much as a glorified tractor could be anyway. These Tin Lizzie-style cars, most were hardly more than farm equipment, gussied up to run on the streets. If I were to be truthful, as much as there were dark corners and unfamiliar faces, it was actually quite the cozy intersection. The friendly faces, the simply snazzy clothing, it's enough to make even me relax. I really couldn't think of anything at that point, other than how it wasn't so bad coming there after all. Until there's a hallway, and only a hallway, covered in vegetation. The opening at the other end is blackness. Deep and unforgiving blackness. Looking around to see anything to give me a suggestion as to where I might be was fruitless. Vines. More vines. Even more so on top of one another. This many plants and I hadn't brought any Benadryl. Good exercise in foresight, me. The hallway began to twist and almost elongate. This can't happen. In no earthly way is this possible. I was highly concerned for my safety, as there is no way to prepare for the mystical and unknown. After taking the only second I felt like I had to take, I stepped forward. The exit, false or genuine, was all that there was to work towards. The vines seemed to grow angry, swelling with disdain from each step I took. But the doorway was none the closer. It drew further away, afraid of my approach. For every bit of ground I covered, it fell away twice the length. I stopped. I felt like I was going mad. Could I have finally lost all sanity? Was there no parcel of reality left cold in the gutters for me to scrape together? My mind, so weak as to hand away all that it treasured to the forces that have made me their interdimensional puppet? A field. A sky. Me. Everything was gone. No more vines. No twisting hallway. Just me. In a field. It was green and gentle. No intentions. They were only plants, as they should be. There were a few trees in the distance, but again, simply trees as I have always known. Then the sky began separating from the earth. It pulled back, now moving independently of anything that physical properties or laws had to say about it. It was in accord of its own volition, and I, terrified like a child whose foot is grazed while draped off the edge of the bed. The fear that you forget just exactly how it feels, until you don't have a choice but to feel it again. White-knuckle fear, I believe it's commonly called. Hey, we're gonna step back for a second and enjoy the empty space we're in right now. Giving you some pickle time to refresh your palate may prey to whatever produce you prescribe to. Maybe we could just talk about something entirely different. You know, I had a pilot friend once. He was a real good pilot, and friend too, actually. Smoked all the time, though. I always wondered, what did he do on long flights when he couldn't smoke? Never did get to ask him that. He was famous, you know, a war hero. Saved his entire squadron from an infamous enemy pilot. A bit of a Red Baron, so to speak. Though, you could thank me partially for that. I am quite fortunate to be in the place that I'm in. Back in reality, of course. Okay, you all good and refreshed? If you are, can I get a yee-haw from y'all? Alright, back to it then. As the mathematical sequences that string our world together fell to dust, I stood helplessly, witnessing what was the coming of a new world. Stars, in the corner of my vision, playing peekaboo from behind the sentient atmosphere. There was an understanding between me and death. While he may be about to take me, he knows that swiftness of his craft is only fair in times like these. Upon the blue appeared a copper eye, lid shut. It was perfectly circular, encrusted along the outer rim with large copper plates that interlocked together. It was at one with the firmament, and separate in the same instance. It was its own master. It told others where to go and who to be, flooding narratives with its opinions, creating new facts out of those thoughts that it has spread to other creatures. They are considered true and real, simply because its will demands it. Its eyelid slams open violently, making a monstrous thud, and the sky ripple like water. There was the eye, the face of the beast. It was vague, yet defined. Accents of gold and teal with the copper, but lacking detail or definition for which to understand it by. The eye speaks, and it says, "By Coral 8. So I said, "What? What the fuck? No, fuck you. I'm never gonna use that. Why would I? Go screw yourself, you big dumb bastard." I can only assume I am the first person to ever intimidate the thing, because this journey came to an end, and I was exactly where I left off before I started this adventure. Stars. Stars. Thank you, Conrax, for the coffee donation. And the nice artwork.